Hi, I'm Kayla. I'm in 12th grade, and my fact is that suspension bridges are actually super flexible. So there was a bridge, the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, that was so flexible that it would literally twist like this. It did collapse, but don't worry, no one got hurt.
Hi, I'm Trevor. I'm a 10th grader. My random fact is the biggest particle accelerator is in Switzerland, and it goes really fast, almost light speed.
Okay. Hi, my name is Aline. I'm a 12th grader, and my fun fact is that the United States doesn't have an official language.
Hi, I'm Luke, 12th grader. My fun fact is that lobsters taste through their feet, hear through their legs, and they have a claw preference if they're clawed.
No. No. Why would that be mine? Why that wouldn't come up? Hi, I'm Allison. I'm a 12th grader at Hezekiah International. I recently learned that clownfish, like when a mama clownfish has a son and she dies, the father or the son will change their sex to be mates. Yeah, think about that.
Mine might not be as interesting as that. But my name is Alvaro. I'm also a 12th grader. I've known this for a while, but turbochargers for cars are actually way more fuel efficient for your car, and you go way faster. So please get them, and they help out fellow mechanics in getting paid.
Hi, my name is Steven Heimer. I'm a 12th grader. My fun fact involves why phone chargers and computer chargers get so hot. It's because that phone and computers need to use direct current, so DC current, but the electric current that's going through all our power lines and houses is AC current, so the heat from the charger is the conversion of AC current to DC current.
Hello, my name is Ivy. I am a senior at High Tech High, and my fun fact is that blueberries help your memory. I forgot why or how, but I'm always telling people that because I have bad memory.
That was great. That was great. Did you learn something? All right, all right. So the questions that I had, thank you for that. I don't think I knew anything of any of these, so thank you. And I have the notes now. These questions are not going to be like, how is school here and that stuff. So hopefully you ask those questions on your tour, and there'll be another tour, so if you didn't, you can ask them then, but also you're going to have time in a minute to ask questions. But what I really think is interesting is, so I'm from Oakland, California, and when I walked in this building, actually when I walked down the street and the building kind of popped out of the field, I was just blown away at how beautiful it was and how calm it was. And so I think for students who are here, I think I would like to get to know them a little bit more. So when you get a chance to ask questions, you may have a deeper burning question, please ask it. But I think we're going to start with just some more heart, okay? As a little bit less head, possibly, yeah? Okay. So high schoolers, hello. As most of us are seniors here, I have one sophomore, I think I got that was right, one sophomore. So thank you for being here as well. In this busy time of getting ready for applications and thinking 2 years from now about applications, what do you find as the biggest barriers, challenge-wise, not really academically, just in terms of keep going, right? In the high pressure of greatness that's happening around you, how do you keep yourself going? And so you can popcorn it, or you can.
We'll just pass it around. I think probably the biggest challenge for me has been trying to sound like myself while writing essays in a limited amount of words. Because during school, of course, you can write an argumentative essay or a research essay in, say, 5 pages, double-spaced, 12-point font. But to describe yourself to a college that you're going to be going to for 4 years in 250 words or 350 words or less, or even maybe 50, it's quite difficult for me to sound in a direct manner without going into my creative writing side. So for me, that's been probably the biggest challenge. But the way I've dealt with that is kind of just taking my language and converting it into how I talk rather than I think, because they kind of oppose each other a little bit.
Okay. For me, the one thing that is the hardest is also writing the essays, but also filling out the applications and having a bunch of people that you have never met and they don't know you, and having them decide my next 4 years is really scary because, I mean, I don't know what that looks like and they don't know what that looks like, and it's hard to... like my teachers are helping me so much throughout the way, and they really understand what I'm going through because they've been there and they're here, and they've done this for so long and they understand all the stress that I'm under. But at the same time, it's like it's very hard to put my personality through all of the college applications and through all of the essays, but I still have their support, and I have a college counselor every day telling me like, oh, did you do this? Did you do that? And it's really nice to have the support behind me.
So I think what the most difficult part for me is the literal sense of sitting down and doing the application. I'm one of those kids that I'll sit down for 20 minutes and then I'm like, ooh, I could go do something else. So I'll go do that other thing. What I found has helped me a lot is I sit with my dad when I do it, because he will strap me to the chair if that's what he has to do. And well, my dad didn't go to college, and he always tells me he wishes he did. And so as I'm doing these applications, I'm like, wow, I'm getting the chance that he didn't. And so if I'm not going to take advantage of it, well, I mean, I might as well just sign my dad up for it, and I know he'll do better than me. And so I do my applications. My dad won't even be talking. He can be asleep. But he knows if I stand up from the couch that he will go to my room and drag me back and be like, shut up and do it. No complaining. And so that always helps. And I mean, as you're talking about, like writing the essays, we got like 8 essays to write, and there's so many different specifications. And obviously everybody will agree essays are the most difficult part. But I think for me is just doing it. I'm just too lazy. But at the end of the day, I know I have to do it, so I end up doing it.
So I think my biggest problem is that, you know, I'm friends with all the seniors, we're all friends, and we're all going through this at the same time. So it's like, I want support and I want to like somebody to like complain about all this too, you know, yeah? And it's like, I can't complain because everybody's going through the exact same thing. And it's like, we're all struggling, we're all like trying to deal with all the college apps, the essays, everything. And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, we're all going through this at the same time. And it's kind of bonding at the same time too. Because it's like, oh yeah, everybody's going through this. But it's kind of like, it's kind of scary because it's like I feel more alone than I have been, if that makes sense.
I think my biggest challenge is like meeting all the great senior teachers and like having all your friends and like amazingness and this sense of urgency to like finish your college apps, and the days go by faster. And it's like, whoa, I have to slow down and like enjoy these people before like I leave these people. Yeah.
Pass this one to Kayla.
One of the biggest struggles for me is time management. It's not that I can't manage my time, it's that like I have a job and I have school, and my dad just came home from a 2 or 3 year long deployment, so I'm trying to catch up with him, and like there's just so many things that are going on all at once, and then top of college applications, and I'm taking all honors, and like I could just give you like the longest list and complain all I want, but like again, it comes back to like the people around you. Like you feel alone because you don't have anybody to complain to because they can't be like, oh yeah, but then they can also say like, I relate, yeah, that's me too. So we're all in this together. Like the High School Musical song. You can start dancing too if you want.
So I agree with all of them. Mostly, my problem is managing my time also. Just like balancing my life, because I have like volleyball practice every day until like 7 o'clock, so I don't get home till like 8. And then I have Key Club to manage since I'm the president. And then, I don't know, just like, so I have like someone texting me like every day at night, like, oh, did you write your essays? Did you finish this application? Because you told me that you wanted to get that done by the end of the week. So I have like goals set for myself, and someone like constantly reminding me, and that really helps a lot.
I don't think I have. I'm sorry.
Thank you for answering that. I really appreciate that. And Trevor didn't have anything, so maybe you all can talk to him if you need somebody to complain to, he has plenty of time. He's a sophomore. I just volunteered Trevor for some long, late phone call nights. Congratulations, Trevor. So I had like another question, and I'm trying to keep track of our time because we have to make our next move. But one of the other things I was thinking about was, do any of you know students that go to other schools that are not a part of the high-tech family? Awesome. I'm glad that answer was yes, because then it helps with this question. So what are you optimistic about the future of education, knowing that schools like this exist? Like, your friends don't get this, or maybe they get a little bit of this or one thing of this, but what are you hopeful for the future? What do you hope for the future in terms of education and those people who don't get this?
So I have friends who go to like Point Loma High, Grossmont, like they're all over the map. But one of the things I've heard from friends who have graduated and gone to college already is that high-tech students have a rough time their first year of college because all of the workload, and it's a lot different. Not everything is hands-on. But those last 3 years of college turn into like, you can really connect with your professors and you know how to be a professional and you know how to present. And going to a public school or just like a normal high school where you're just reading out of a textbook reciting and then repeating the process, it's different. And they're really good with the workload and they know like all the study tips and they're used to staying up till 3 a.m. or whatever they do, but they don't have those people skills like we do. And that is easy to learn just reading out of a textbook. But like what we learn here at High Tech High with POLs, that I feel like is what really sets us up.
What I'm optimistic about is applying for colleges. You guys aren't, but I am. Because my sister, she didn't go to a high-tech school, but she had a really hard time. She never got seen by a college counselor any of the 4 years, even the senior year. So I'm actually happy that I get to have one available to me at all times.
I think I'm really optimistic is that a lot of our students are finding and engaged in their passions. And I feel like because we have such a great display of that at our school, like we have teachers who really, really like what they're teaching and really like what they're doing. And it's kind of that energy and that finding who you are and what you like that gives us the opportunity through like internships and then seeing that as examples of just like our dean even likes what they're doing, you know, that sense of like passion and love genuinely for what we're doing makes me really hopeful for our future, where we have people who know what they're doing, love what they're doing, and are just like super positive about it.
So for me, I think the thing I'm most optimistic about is people skills. I think we're really good with even just, ambassadors. Like, we know how to talk to people, we know how to be with people. And then same on that is like bullying too. I think that I was at my friend's school 2 weeks ago, and out of nowhere I hear something like, "Oh, you stupid fag," or something. I was like, "Wow, I can't believe people actually still use that." I don't know. It was it was shocking to me that it was shocking. That this was like something out of the ordinary. I was like, that's kind of nice that we have that. Family vibe.
Okay. God, I probably have like the longest list. I went to Point Loma High for 9th grade, so I didn't grow up in the high-tech system. A lot of people here have been here since kindergarten, and I got to tell you, I hated going to school. I never did my homework. I ditched pretty much every day. I just never wanted to be at school, and I didn't have a goal. I didn't know anything about college. My parents didn't go to college. My sister and my brothers didn't go to college. They were all pregnant by 16, and I totally thought that's where my life was going. And when I heard about High Tech High, I was like, that's super weird. I never want to go there. And people at a public school, they look at High Tech High like, oh, they're a bunch of geeks. All they're thinking about is college. And I had one teacher at one of the public schools that I went to who gave us 2 bathroom passes for the entire year. So for me, being a girl, I mean, all you girls can imagine, like, oh my God, I have to pee every 2 seconds. And having like a teacher that was like, no, you can only go to the bathroom twice during the entire year, I was like, why do they not trust me? Like, I'm like 14 years old. I should know when I can do this and when I can do that. And coming here at first, I was very like, we can leave the room whenever we feel like it. Like, I asked him, he was next to me, and I was like, are you doing your homework tonight? And he's like, why are you not? Like, it was very different. And all of a sudden, like, as I grew in this school, now I know where I want to go for college. And now I know that I don't have to be married by the time I'm 19 because I need to make money. Now I know that I can make my own money. And I hope that other schools have, like, I hope that they have the mentality that we do so that another kid that's going to school doesn't feel like I did, to where I don't want to go to school, not because I don't feel like learning, but because the teachers don't trust me. And because all they care about is that I'm in between these lines. And I hope to God that some kid my age gets this experience and gets what I get now, because now I know I want to be a translator for the government. Like, I would have never thought that. And so that's what I hope for the education.
I think what I'm most optimistic for is it's a little weird coming from a high-tech student, but I'm excited for the workload. We don't get the same amount of workload that other high schools get, and then we're like, oh yeah, like I can do it, and then we go to college and we're like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. I think that's where we really get tested as students, because you'll hear the word rigor and grit and going through all these things because you have to. I'm excited to actually be tested by the most difficult part of life, is that first semester of college where you're bombarded with an entire new culture. I'm ready to take that on. And it's weird because I would have never thought I wanted to, but it seems so exciting to be like, okay, like I don't have any classes today, but I'm gonna spend 8 hours in the library because I know I have a test in a month. And if I don't study right now, it's going to be 2 days before the exam, and I'm staying up for all 48 hours straight with just Red Bulls in my body. Like, I'm not excited for that. I'm excited to take advantage of what is given to me, as I have taken the advantage of what is given to me here.
I think what I'm very optimistic about is just like Alvaro here, we've both went to Explore, and we've gone to a system through the high-tech high system since about halfway through first grade, right? Kindergarten, technically, but yeah. I think what I'm most optimistic about is the fact that the high-tech high schools are different in the sense of how they treat uniqueness. Whereas a lot of times it's very much society and a lot of other schools in a traditional sense, I feel like they see the person way up here in the graph compared to all the other people down here, and they're like, okay, why are you up here? You should be down here like everyone else. It's uniqueness becomes background noise, and color becomes black and white, metaphorically speaking. Whereas here at High Tech High, you see kids in the halls just drawing like these badass drawings of a dragon or an anime character, and you see these kids writing on their own. They're pouring their hearts out, and they're like their minds into a writing assignment. That doesn't happen, or doesn't seem to happen very often at a traditional school, because it's very much standard. There's a line, you should be near the line. It doesn't matter which direction you're near the line in, you have to be near the line. Whereas here, it's okay, here's the line. If you're below the line, what can we do to help you get to above the line? High Tech High wants to get you kids above the standard versus stay at the standard. And they see uniqueness, and they're like, how can we help you promote that? How can we get everybody to where you are? And just knowing that there's a school and school system that does that and thinks that way, that makes me really helpful, because it will hopefully create a more diverse and socially acceptable society.
I am optimistic about how I will grow as a person after this, because I came into High Tech High in 9th grade. I was really introverted, and now I've joined a lot of things to help me branch out. And I I've learned a lot of skills, like organization skills, public speaking, even making like eye contact when you're talking to someone. And what was I gonna say? I learned to be more vocal, and I don't think I would have done that without branching out and going to High Tech High and learning that.
I don't know if you're speechless, but I am, and I'm. Can I just give them a hand for those answers? So now we have a few minutes for some questions from the audience. But I'm hoping you took in what they said. Like I'm hoping like you listened, because you could have heard it. Like, and I think hearing is very different than listening. So maybe you heard what they're saying, but I think they poured out their heart in terms of not only where some of their challenges are, but also what they're looking forward to and what they're optimistic about for the future. And I don't know where you were at 17. I wasn't there. And so I just want to honor you all. Thank you very much for your answers for that. And we have a question here in the audience.
So we're talking about growth and how you guys have grown. Is High Tech High perfect? Or how can High Tech High grow and become a better educational institution or a better learning opportunity for the students here?
I think a big thing, which is a conversation I had earlier with someone mentioning that when we give tours, when we give them to students, how is that like teaching the students to be better like students in their atmosphere? And my response was, well, because our thought process is it begins with the faculty. And I feel like our faculty gives so much to the students, so much attention. And now it's kind of like a student part. I know for a lot of students, math is not something they're passionate about, and I am head over heels in love with math. And so it's just I want students to understand in a lot of sense that math and everything they're passionate about is an art form. Literature is an art form, art is an art form, and math is an art form, and I want students to talk about things that they like and feel genuinely appreciative of all they're given, to show what they're good at and display it as art. I want to display why I understand formulas so easily to other students who don't even care to think twice about math. And in other aspects too, some people who suck at drawing, I want them to understand why it's so fun to draw, why you can admire something that's beautiful and still feel passionate while not getting it. Like when I see art, I'm so passionate about it, but I cannot draw it. So it's like to see and admire someone else's art form, whatever that is.
I personally think that High Tech High is as close to perfect as you can get. Point not repeating. It's just, I think the next step would be kind of impossible just because for me, it's like High Tech High works so well with my learning style and like the way I work, hands-on and all that, project-based. But the next step would be making it like perfect for you, perfect for the individual. And I think that's kind of impossible. So I think it's pretty darn close to perfect.
On my tour that I gave earlier with John Santos, somebody asked, like, how do teachers come into the school and become the teachers that the students want to have? And he gave the answer of, it's progressive, it's continuously changing. The school, I honestly think, will never be perfect because we don't know what perfect is yet. It's continuously growing and changing into so many things that, as he said, it's perfect for him. Maybe for another student, it's just not perfect for them. Perfect is different, and we just don't know what it is yet. But all we know is moving forward is the best direction to go in. And so it's basically, as John Santos always says, man, just keep going. Like, it's progressive.
Well, for me, I mean, I love the school. I mean, as you can tell, like I'm like super excited to be here. But the one thing that maybe I would change, we have so many teachers that come and go, and I mean it's because we only have they only have pretty much a year contract, and some teachers choose to stay, some teachers would rather go to a different school, but because we only have that 1 year contract, and a lot of them would like to go and move on, and it's really hard to be with a teacher for so long and just watch them go, because we grow a really, really tight bond with them, and then just to see them go, we go through a lot of teachers, so that's the only thing that I would say would change.
What other questions do we have out here? Oh, one more answer, okay. Well, and then we'll...
Oh, no, we can move on. It's okay. We got enough.
Okay. Right here.
So first of all, thank you guys so much. This is very insightful to a group of teachers. So now that you're talking to a group of teachers, I want to ask you, could you describe the day in the life of a typical, or of your favorite teacher?
Oh, okay. My favorite teacher right now is actually my engineering teacher. And I would say, in a couple words, the day in the life of him is, puns, building things, glue. His junior class, he gets all 4 of the classes. He gets a new set of juniors every 8 weeks. So he just has to go so quickly. So his life for half the day is moving around and running around and trying to get all this information in their little heads so fast. But then in our class, it's we're a bunch of squirrely seniors with senioritis. So he's stop talking, run around, bridges, area moment of inertia, vectors, and that's just, I feel like that's our class.
A day in the life of my favorite teacher would be, my mom's a teacher. She teaches us at a public school.
Is she here right now?
No.
Oh, okay. We are filming this, so we can send this information to your mom.
It's okay. She doesn't need it.
I'll look in Power School. I'll send her the YouTube link.
It's okay. So I get to hear a lot about her day, and she tells me all of it. And so I think that would be her day. Is she teaches 2nd grade, so she wakes up, she gets a new, teaches her, makes her lesson plan in front of me in the car right here every single morning. What should I teach for math today? What should I teach for science? It's a new thing every single day, so it's fun making her lessons with her.
So, no question about it. My favorite teacher is my math teacher. And, the sense is because I feel like his day is, happy thoughts, happy thoughts. He's just so, bubbly and, happy. Yeah, and he's student. He's high five, or student, hug. I know, it's so great. And it's and then he's love math. And he's do you love math? And it's this whole, engagement and happiness and just happy thoughts and meditating and, fitness, and it's beautiful.
No. I love all my teachers, but I don't think I could come up with a day in their life.
I think my favorite teacher right now is, it's really weird because I don't really like English class. The reason being I don't have much reading or writing stamina as he does. I'd rather just work on math. But I think my favorite teacher right now is Stephanie. If you ever get a chance to meet her, she's still a 12-year-old girl. And the reason I say that is because whenever she's teaching, there'll be times where she'll just stop talking. She's all right, you guys can lead the class now. She'll give us a topic for discussion and allow us to go off. And she'll just sit there and smile and just be I like this. She's just a child. She enjoys teaching her class because she's teaching what she wants. And even when she's talking and she's describing in our surrealist project, she's acting stuff out. Or when she's reading a poem, if the guy who wrote the poem has an accent, she'll try to do the accent. And she'll be I can't do a Greek accent for my life, but here we go. She tries to make it as enjoyable as possible. And I feel she just wakes up every day with that same jitteriness to where she just just goes. It's just in a straight line, and she's just jittery all the time.
next one.
So you guys are amazing, first of all. As a high school teacher, I love seeing the passion that you have. I love that one of you talked about the latitude that you have. You can draw, you can go to the restroom when you have to go. So a lot of people in here are parents, and it's always about choices and the choices that you make. So you have a lot of latitude to make your own choices. How did we phrase that? How do you keep yourself accountable or hold yourself accountable? And if you don't make the right choice, I know your father straps you to the chair to help you write. So how do you hold yourself accountable when you sometimes maybe go off track a little bit? How do you get back on track personally and within the high school?
So as you were talking about, kind of like rules and guidelines. Again, a John Santos quote from the last tour. He gives us. It's like usual schools give you a list of rules, and they say these are good choices, and you have to follow these. There aren't many rules here except for, don't be stupid. Just be yourself, enjoy yourself, and get through it. And we're here to support you. And it's just kind of like if your choice that you make is not on the list, it's a bad choice. But that's not true. A choice that you make is a choice for yourself. And I think that what gives us like the ownership and like the responsibility to ourselves is the realization that I always say the teacher gets paid whether they're in the class. They're not getting paid for every student that passes. They're getting paid for being there. We're not getting paid. We applied to come to this school, and it's like, this is my learning. Like, I can easily, if I don't want to be here, whatever, I'll go to my neighborhood school. But like, we applied to be here, so it's that sense of, I applied to be here, this is my learning, and I'm going to take advantage of it.
Do you want me to go? Just go. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so indecisive. I think for me, self-management is difficult at times because I do deal with some stuff outside of school. So in terms of self-management, like that aspect, the aspect of High Tech High that's helped me personally a lot is its ability to, like, kind of similar to what I said earlier, it's we're not supposed to be on a line necessarily. That's just a guideline. The mentality that like we're not constrained. We have, okay, I'm very metaphorical, so I'm just gonna say we're given a skeleton, but whereas a lot of other schools tell us what colors to color the skin, how we wanna have our face shaped, what size everything needs to be. High Tech High is like, okay, here's your skeleton, here's how you can find all those things, and you can find in a way, it's like, that helps me find myself, or at least attempt to try to find myself within within education and curriculum, as well as outside of school, because I'm not, at this school I feel like I'm not constrained to a box. I'm not, of course, on the signing up for colleges, you have to click like Asian or non-Asian or whatever. But besides that, High Tech High doesn't constrain me to a box, and that really helps with my ability to try to find myself outside of school as well as in school.
Yeah. Me personally, just the way I keep myself going is that if I stop, I'm only hurting myself. And I mean, you want to be in a good place in life. And then also kind of a teacher quote, you're just a circus dog, and throughout your entire life, you're just jumping through hoops. So jump through the hoops as fancily as you can. Yeah.
Are we out of time?
Yeah, we have time for one more question. So if you have one more burning one, get your hand up. Otherwise, there it is.
Where is it? Okay. You have fans already. Oh boy. No pressure.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna stand up to be seen, speak up to be heard, sit down to be appreciated. Okay. So my burning question is, how do we in public schools that are not high tech high get to this place where you are? And how can we get our teachers and our administrators to that place where your school is?
I'm gonna start. Sorry. Yeah, I feel like the one thing that could really start it is a community. Like I'm from a lot of places. My dad's in the military. I've lived in like 13 houses, and I've moved to 8 states. It's a lot. But like, even though I'm from Philadelphia, represent. Hey. But even though like, you know, you walk around and you have houses and you can go so many places. Like I've had 12 houses, but I've never felt more at home in this place. And like that just, like I get teary-eyed. Like I love these people so much. And like I feel like that's where it starts.
I think it's the student to teacher bond that we connect. The teachers really want to get to know us, and we really want to get to know our teachers, but more the teacher part. So I think that's that.
I think a thing for me, teacher and student relationship, it's not really like that it's not really like that implied as heavily in our school. It's more like people to people. So like, how do you make people happy? You make them like by talking to them, by communicating them, by loving them and respecting them and caring for them. And it's, don't view your students as less, view them as equals and talk to them as peers, like you're learning from them and they're teaching you, and just like humans, you know, like interaction.
Just like, sorry, let me rethink that. I think the best thing is probably being a family. And we say like the High Tech High community, and it is a community, but I think it's more of like the High Tech High family. And just being like the same thing, we're all people. Be real, be on a like the same level. And yeah, just.
For me, it's a lot about the teacher and the student connection. Like instead of just staying in front of the class and just teaching about your subject and then getting it over with, it's more about like, hey, how are you doing today? And I've had so many teachers just ask me how I am and if I'm getting everything done, because like if I'm feeling okay with it, instead of like, do you understand this? Like more about the education part and just how are you feeling? Because it's if you're like a wreck on the inside and like somebody's pushing all this information at you, like you're really not going to retain it. So just having someone like to put their hand on your shoulder and just like ask you like, how are you feeling today? It's a lot nicer feeling than just to have someone at the front of the classroom and be like, learn this, learn this, learn this. Like,
I'm gonna get a little metaphorical like Steven does. I always say that regular high schools, in freshman year, every student will shoot an arrow, and that arrow is their education, and they're hoping to hit their own bullseye. Our freshmen, we all shoot an arrow at the same time, then they interlock, and they become one giant missile, and they all hit the bullseye. And the reason being is because that interlocking thing. There is a continuous relationship. Like, I may not know a freshman, but I know that what he's going through right now, I went through that 4 years ago, and all I can say is, you're gonna get it, buddy, do not worry, because it's going to go well because you have so much support at all times. So it's just that, like, you're gonna hear it a lot, it's pretty cliche, but family, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna say family too. For me though, it's more of the fact that the teachers here know what, in my opinion, what empathy really is. And it's the fact that, from my definition of empathy, is not being able to, not standing in someone's shoes, because to me that demeans their struggle and what they're dealing with, because their shoes will not fit you the same way they're like those shoes fit them. Empathy to me is being able to stand next to the person, see what they're going through, and understand what they're going through, and accept that you will never understand exactly what they're dealing with, but you can understand the what, but you can't understand exactly how. And I feel like teachers here understand that with like everything else everyone's said so far. They consider the students' life outside of school, not just the students' life inside the school. And for me, I personally am adopted from Masan, South Korea, so I've never, like, I have a parents, and I'm grateful for what they've done for me, but it's hard for me to have parental figures in my life because I've never known my birth parents. It's kind of something I try to be open about, but at the high-tech high system, because they're able to exercise that definition of empathy, I can consider a couple teachers my parents because of the way they can take what I deal with outside of school and consider that into what I deal with inside of school and help me motivate myself and like all of us collectively get that goal done.
I feel like the teachers here are there to like get to know you and not only to teach you. I feel like, so like every morning, like on Monday, we would have like a stretching circle, and my teacher would always like ask me like, oh, what did you do this weekend? He really wants to know like, what am I doing outside of school, so he could get to know me better. And also, I can also come to them with anything, like any problem I'm having in my life, or if I'm struggling to get an assignment due, I can like talk to them, like ask them like how I could get to that goal of finishing it, and maybe getting like a later date that I could turn it in by, but I'll still be going towards that goal of finishing something.
So since everybody kind of said family, I want to add this on. Like the teachers have to create that space where they're on the same level as us. But at the same time, the student has to be just as accepting of that. And I think it goes both ways. Like each of you have to be, on the same level and just understanding of that and accepting of that.
Sorry, one quick thing. So, we really do like to talk. For you guys, the one thing I would say, coming here, I think it's really great that, like, just you guys coming here shows that you are able to, you really are passionate about what you do. In order to incorporate that into your schools that might not have the same principles as us, though, you need to understand that it might not work. There's going to be failure in life. You can't go in with the mentality that it's going to work, otherwise you end up just you build 4 walls and crash them all down in that way. Because, things that might work here might not work for your school, but it's just awesome to see you guys here trying. The best way to try to, I would say, from doing these before and experiencing my experience in school, I would say the best way to achieve success or attempt to achieve success for you guys is to just take what you've learned here, take your learning experiences, and just be really, really passionate about it. Try to implement that passion in your classrooms, with your students, how you talk with them, how you interact with other staff, your principals at your school, your overall collective staff mindset, and how you teach your students and what assignments you get. Because if that passion is evident in your teaching, students will follow that. Because students are, from what I know, students really do like teachers, and they follow teachers, and they really enjoy learning when the teacher themselves is so passionate about what they're doing. The students latch onto that and they become just as passionate. So that's what I would say to you in order to try to take what you did here and make the most of it.